Hi friends, in the previous video we discussed about net present value. Here we will talk about XNPV, that is extended net present value. Both of these are financial metrics used to determine the present value of future cash flows. However, there is a slight difference. When we use NPV, it calculates the net present value of a stream of cash flows assuming that they are occurring at regular intervals, whereas XNPV calculation handles cash flows occurring at irregular intervals. Here, when we calculate XNPV, we will need dates for all the cash flows. This formula is for NPV as we saw in the previous video. This pertains to XNPV and these are notations. Let us calculate NPV first. We are considering these cash flows minus 2000, that is cash outflow, initial investment, followed by three cash inflows 1000, 800, 1100, and we have here corresponding periods. The discount rate being considered is 8%. Now we will calculate NPV. Let us do the calculation. This is 485. Good. Now, while calculating XNPV for the same cash flows, we will consider dates instead of period. So we have these dates in place. Instead of considering periods, we will consider dates. And why we have these dates? We have these dates to calculate the number of days elapsed since the beginning of investment so far as each and every cash flow is concerned. So this is the first cash inflow. And when did this take place? 5th Feb 2024. I mean, of course, it's a future date. So how many days have elapsed since this date? 400. And about this 800, the date being 10th March 2025. How many days are elapsing since the initial investment? 799. And for the last cash inflow, the number of days elapsed are 1089. Now we will calculate, having calculate the number of days elapsed, we will go ahead and see what are our discounted cash flows. So these are our discounted cash flows and we will sum them up. We will have 469.40. This is nothing but extended net present value. Good. Now what we will do is we will go and use Excel formula to see whether these figures are matching or not. So let us go to Excel sheet. This is our Excel sheet. So let us give this formula all over again. Let me remove this. Okay. Now here we write NPV rate being this, that is 8%. And then we will take these values, close parenthesis, and we'll say plus because this figure is already there in minus, and enter 485.01. So the figures are matching. Now here XNPV rate, this, next, values. Here we'll give all the values. And then here we'll give all the dates. And let us enter it, 469.40. Right? Now, what we will do is, let us again go back to Jupyter Notebook. So this is our Jupyter Notebook. Now, what we can do is, let us take another example. This time, we will consider 5 cash flows, 2 being outflows, 3 being inflows. And we are considering 5 periods because there are 5 cash flows. And we are also considering 5 corresponding dates to calculate X and PV. And having considered these dates, we are calculating days elapsed. Okay, first we will calculate NPV. So here it is. So these are discounted cash flow for arriving at NPV. Now let us sum them up. 4, no, we have to enter that. So 413 is our NPV. See, we did not enter this, so it was taking the old values. Okay, these values was taking. Anyway, now we will calculate X NPV. So what we will consider here, we consider period. Now here consider dates to calculate the number of days elapsed since the initial cash outflow. So these are our discounted cash flow. And when we sum them up, we will get 681. See, 413, 681. Now what we will do is, we will go back to Excel sheet, okay, and calculate this NPV, rate being 8, and these were the values, and close parenthesis, plus, and enter this initial investment 413. Now here X and PV, we'll consider this rate, and then we'll take all the values and then all the dates. 681. Let us go back to Jupyter Notebook again. Okay, so the figures are very much matching 413 and 681. Now, having considered these data for NPV and XNPV, we will create data frame. So what we will do? First, we will create a data frame by the name DF underscore NPV. Now see what we are doing. We are creating data frame cash flows period NPV underscore PV. This is nothing but discounted cash flow. Enter that. And this is the data frame pertaining to NPV. These cash flows, these periods and discounted cash flows are this. And when we total this discounted cash flow, we will get 413, right? And let us create a data frame for X NPV. So what we will do now? Here we are considering cash flows. Instead of period, dates, days elapsed, XNPPV, this is nothing but discounted cash flow. These are the column names. Let us enter this. And then this is the data frame pertaining to XNPV calculation. And when we enter this discounted cash flow we total, we get 681. This is what is our XNPV, that is extended net present value. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.